What's up, guys? I'm here to do a quick update on two items. One is the planned debate with Subboor, and the other is an official response from Winston Sterzel about my video yesterday in terms of why it is he makes racist content. I'll put a timestamp in the part about Winston if you guys just want to jump directly there. The Subboor topic, I do need to get out of the way because he's going on a bit of a rampage, making videos with false claims, and he's buddying up with Winston also, which is pretty interesting. But that's why I'm going to first start with that one. So, some of you guys know and remember that Subboor introduced himself to me for the first time ever, gloating that he was going to release an article on me, exposing me. Initially, I was just like, okay, cool. You know, this is nothing new. Have fun. I hope it brings some new people to my channel. Thanks. He didn't like that. So he kept pushing and pushing with all kinds of other tweets, trying to goad me. And I said, you know what? I actually have an idea. Every time someone does something like this, after they write the article, they run away without justifying their claims or answering any questions about the accusations. To show my confidence in being able to address any accusations against me, because I have nothing to hide, I will extend an invite, even before seeing his article, to debate whatever the article ends up claiming about me on my channel. And he accepted. Slowly, it became more and more apparent he was trying to distance himself from this commitment. First was by not releasing the article last weekend, like he said he would, to then saying he would do it when he felt like, to eventually not talking about it anymore at all. So what he did here was exceedingly obvious to everyone. In order to save face, he started to deploy a bait and switch tactic of sorts. He said he wanted 15 minutes to talk about I guess it's something to do with his imaginary land called East Turkestan. And he continually refused to answer the question on whether he was going to keep his promise to defend and justify any claims he made against me. I asked him over and over again, and he wouldn't reply. Some of his associates would reply, encouraging me to take the bait on a completely different topic. However, when I then reposed the question to them, once again, they also ignored it. I told him that I'm still ready. I'm still ready to go if he wants to keep his promise, and I asked about his availability for next week to try to come up on an agreement for time, after which he put out a video publicly, deliberately, arbitrarily setting a debate time and date for Saturday, a day I clearly said I was not available. I said, I was asking about availability for next week, but of course this was deliberate. In these videos, he put out about 10 minutes of ranting across two videos, saying that he was going to make this 15-minute presentation on my channel on some sort of an unknown topic, which he didn't want to let me know in advance because he didn't want to give me time to prepare. He literally said that. He's obviously very worried about this. He's putting roadblocks in place to deliberately try and sabotage this debate. And if it does happen, he doesn't want to do it on the original promised topic. He wants to do it on a mystery topic he'd like to spring on me to, improve his chances of succeeding. I don't know. But his angle now is to tell everyone that it's me who's backing out here by the mere fact that I'm not taking his bait and switch game. One of us is willing to keep our promise. The other is trying to escape it. One of us is opening a conversation for a mutually agreed upon time, and the other is deliberately choosing a date and time I've already said I'm not available on. While trying to decode his messages on YouTube and mixing it in with some context from Twitter, it seems like he wants to have a debate about philosophy, and he's trying to present this effort to change the debate as an honest attempt from an honest party, even after backing out of his promise. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone can see right through this. It's like if someone wanted to debate me about the topic of safety or living standards in China or raising kids in China, some sort of a topic that I know a thing or two about. And then last minute saying, nope, I'm changing the debate. I'm not going to tell you what the topic of disagreement is, but maybe it will have something to do with the theory of relativity. Like, what? I mean, are we serious here? During these episodes, he also condescendingly suggested he'd talk about his solution for the Uyghurs in his imaginary East Turkestan state, all while aggressively targeting an actual Uyghur in Pakistan who was saying that he doesn't want him and his people to be liberated by him. Subboor was suggesting that the Urdu community will really like to know about this guy making these what seemed like veiled threats to a Uyghur while pretending to stand up for Uyghur human rights. It was a really bizarre show. But anyways, let's talk about the foundation for his audacity to speak up for the Uyghurs and build solutions. It comes from his constant claim that there's a genocide happening in Xinjiang. This is the supposed reason for his desired intervention. So I extended an olive branch to him. His whole philosophical solution for the Uyghurs, who he wants to save, in order to have any credibility, he should be able to defend beyond a reasonable doubt that genocide is in fact happening. With this in mind, having a clear identified topic that we disagree on, I offered him the chance to convince my audience and I that there is a genocide going on. He didn't take it. Instead, without even being able to defend this foundational item, as a British national, is promoting the idea of interfering in Pakistan's politics and influencing its people to go on a jihad in Xinjiang.
You have 216 million Pakistanis right next to East Turkestan. And when I was thinking about this, I was thinking, you know what? Yes, we need world support. Yes, we need the United Nations. We need America. Obviously, we only need Allah. But talking about these asbab, these means, yeah? But then I was kind of thinking, if we can just get Pakistan on board, if we can just get the Pakistani military on board, if we can get the Pakistani politicians on board, the ulama on board, the celebrities on board, the influencers on board, I honestly think the independence of East Turkestan is an eye blink away, inshallah. Because you don't need the whole world coming together. Do you even need that? If you have 16 million people, right? Why the heck would we need more people? We don't really. Well, of course, we should try and make things. But that's why I'm thinking more and more efforts need to be made in terms of Pakistan. And we have some strategies to try and do that as well, inshallah.
Pay attention to who he was speaking to there. That's Arslan. Remember that. That's going to be really important in a moment. Subboor, you have demonstrated that you are not an honest party. If you want to prove that you are honest and that you have integrity, get that article out and stick to your original promise. I didn't agree to give you a 15-minute TED talk on your philosophy or how you want to invade Xinjiang with the Pakistani army or religion. Most certainly not religion. Beyond the fact that this is not what we agreed on, even if I had the odd sudden interest to debate a religious topic, an area, a topic that I've never really covered on my channel in any meaningful way, I would most certainly not introduce the topic of Islam by bringing someone like you on who has already proven himself to be a dishonest party and who's talking about a military invasion of Xinjiang with a guy, Arslan, who said he sees no problem with the video of an ETIM terrorist saying that they'd return to Xinjiang and kill Han Chinese people. And Arslan also, who said he supports the idea of ethnically cleansing Xinjiang of even Mongol people who have been there for longer than even the Uyghurs. And who also said it's his goal to be a better extremist in 2021, while praying to Allah that he destroys the family of Chinese public servants. Absolutely not. I had so many Muslim friends reach out to me to tell me about your appalling views and how it hurts the rest of the Muslim world and breeds Islamophobia. If I suddenly decided to start putting out content about religion, let's say I decided to start talking about Buddhism and introduce Buddhism to my audience, it would be an absolute disgrace to Buddhism and Buddhists all around the world if I invited someone on to talk about Buddhism who was aligned with the Buddhist monks who incited the murder of Muslims in Myanmar. I mean, it would be absolutely ridiculous. So to recap, no. First and foremost, I don't cover religion, and we didn't agree to talk about this. Second, I refuse to risk spreading Islamophobia, because the first time I brought someone on to speak about Islam, it was a man who refuses to keep his promises, who's promoting the idea of inciting the Pakistani military to invade Xinjiang, who's describing this plan to a guy who says he supports the idea of ethnically cleansing the lands. No, thank you. I will not allow you to promote Islamophobia on my channel. And as one of my close Muslim friends in Egypt said, I'm actually saving you from committing a sin. Show us that you're a man of honesty and integrity and keep your promise. If you agree to do that and you really, really want to add another item of disagreement, clearly state what that topic is, what it is you want to debate. And we can see is this something we disagree on? And if we mutually agree to debate that topic, just like we mutually agreed to debate your personal attacks against me. I mean, this isn't rocket science, Subboor. Stop putting out videos where you're desperately trying to justify your bait and switch while talking about a new topic that remarkably you blab on for 10 minutes about without actually saying what the topic is. I mean, this is the last thing I have to say to you on this topic. I'm not going to further entertain your inability to keep a promise and your continual meltdowns and deliberate attempts at trying to find a way out of this. If you've lost confidence in this debate that we've agreed to, just tell us directly, man. Just tell us you're backing out. You may feel embarrassed initially. I get it. I understand. But I guarantee you, in the long run, it's far less humiliating than continually deflecting with these awkward twists and turns while you delete your YouTube videos talking about the original premise of the debate and as you try to snake your way out of this. On May 29th, when I realized that you were going to just continue to tag me on dozens and dozens of unrelated tweets every day, I decided to give you a deadline of 5 days to get your article out, to which you replied, well, you know what? Actually, I was going to release it this weekend, which was last weekend, but now I'm going to deliberately delay it, further reaffirming that you wanted a way out. That 5 days is up now. However, now that I've made it abundantly clear that I'm not falling for your bait and switch, and that I do expect you to keep your promise, and that I do plan to keep my promise to show you my willingness to make this happen, I'm going to extend the deadline to Monday. I mean, you have now the perfect opportunity to make this happen if you're truly a man of your word. Or you have the opportunity to deliberately let the time expire so that you finally have an excuse and a way out. After Monday, I'll have no further interest in engaging you. You have opened up plenty of amazing ETIM connected rabbit holes for me to explore, which I'm incredibly grateful for. But in terms of still putting up with this, with your continual tagging, you've more or less outlived your usefulness. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it in a more kind way. I mean, the most valuable thing you can do after you inevitably refuse to keep your promise and allow the time to expire is to continue talking about me, raise an awareness about my channel, and send people with opinions very different from mine over to have a look at what I have to say. Because at the end of the day, regardless of these people connect with what I say or agree with what I say or not, these are the people I've always wanted to reach, people who have a different viewpoint. And the side benefit, of course, is that they can find this video and learn the truth behind the day you ran away and snaked your way out of this. Now, let's move on. Speaking of snakes, you guys know that I made a 1.5 year long effort to try and get Winston Sterzel and Matthew Tai to address my issues with their content and why I think it's dishonest and even dangerous. I gave them the opportunity to tell everyone live if I took anything they said out of context while going through the things they said. Kind of like what I was willing to do with Subboor. He has some accusations against me. Okay, cool. All right. Put it out. Let's talk it out. But anyways, I gave them a 1.5 years. Compare that to mainstream media. When they do hit pieces on people, they often only give you 48 hours as a right to respond and then just go ahead with it. So I think it was fair. And in the spirit of that fairness, continuing that spirit of fairness, I got to tell you, Winston has officially responded to why he produces the racist content that he does. I'll start with a set of tweets from my good friend in Canada. So, after Cyrus had retweeted my video exposing Winston and Matt's racism, Winston said to Cyrus, "Honestly, I thought you were a bit more sophisticated, but you too are on the I don't like what he's saying, so let's attack his character bandwagon. I expected rabid accusations of racism from my obsessed stalker, but I would have hoped you would have been capable of reason." Okay, so Cyrus responded the following way. "Sure, Winston, play the victim card, but facts don't care about your feelings. I have no problem with anyone disagreeing with my view. I do have a problem when you're so far removed from your narrative and desperate for content. You want change, China? You want to change China, sorry? Make a video about how you think democracy is the best government for China, or your vision for an improved China. Would I agree with it? Maybe, maybe not. I would respect that content and your opinion. You're resorting to bashing China every chance you get. And I get it. Being anti-China is popular. You can make a great living doing it. But what's your end goal? Is it really to make China better? If it is, share your vision and elevate your content. You have spent a long time in the country and have genuine insights, but I expect more from the original China vlogger. Time to look in the mirror and self-reflect. Most importantly, stop blaming others for the content you produce. I thought that was pretty good. But anyways, Winston responded to Cyrus and I inadvertently because the video was the topic of discussion in the original tweet, and I'm grateful for that response. Because in that video, I did pose a question to him after he said that China doesn't have 5,000 years of history and there's no evidence of it. That's already been debunked, and if it were true, people wouldn't be shitting and spitting in the streets. And I asked the question, why? What's the purpose of this? What's the end goal? What do you got to say this for? And so, I mean, more or less, he answered this question and Cyrus's question here. So he says, my goal is to educate and help people understand how China works. I don't want the Chinese government exporting its censorship and way of leadership all over the world as it's currently doing. I care greatly for the personal freedoms afforded by Western countries, like America alone, killing 6 million people around the world since 9/11 and in wars and conflicts that they've had a hand in. I guess, it's usually brown folks that suffer from the freedoms that the West has rained down on them with special delivery drones. So I guess it doesn't really matter that much to Winston, does it? Anyways, let's continue. I don't have aspirations to change China. I want to give people knowledge and insight into how society and the government works so that people can avoid the pitfalls of dealing with the dishonest side of the Chinese government. I stand up for the Chinese people and dissidents, those who are genuinely being persecuted for not liking their government, those who are being steamrolled by a system that does not allow differing opinions or a genuine criticism of the leadership and government, victims of human rights abuses and conditions I have witnessed. I share my genuine experiences and will not back down to cry-bully race baiters like yourself and others who cannot address my opinions and points, but rather attack my character through slander and libel and try to take away from the genuine message that I'm putting out. All right, so there you have it, guys. The reason he shows videos of shit at the bottom of outhouses and compares it to Chinese society, the reason he calls the behavior of Chinese men cowardly, the reason he says the Chinese people are heartless, the reason he uses unflattering thumbnail pictures of Chinese people when telling a story, and the reason he needs to continually dehumanize Chinese people is because he wants to raise awareness from the bottom of his heart about the Chinese government. What? How do those fit together? Okay, I mean, and he's afraid that one day China will censor topics like what? Like globally, like America does by persecuting Julian Assange, preventing the ICC from investigating war crimes in Afghanistan, or censoring people off Western social media platforms when they tell the truth about Soleimani's assassination? Well, okay, so maybe I should find some better examples because, of course, first, China would have to start terrorizing and murdering their way through the world like Winston's precious Western countries do with their morally superior Western systems before those examples would be valid. So maybe I'll have to find some more tame examples and tone it down a little bit. But anyways, heaven forbid these Western systems start to lose some of its influence and hold over the world because of their, we don't want to lose their kind and humane foreign policies, would we? I mean, and by the way, actually, you know what? No, people do respond directly to the content you make also. And you delete their comments off of YouTube if they're too difficult for you to answer, or you ignore them on Twitter if it exposes critical holes in your argument or highlights what you fabricated. Like, give me a break. Anyways, guys, you know what? That's going to be it for me on this one. I've got to do an episode on something that's a little bit more cheerful. These last few episodes have been pretty intense. I hope it hasn't been too intense for you guys, but I got to find something to balance this out and bring it back down a few levels. I think I've got a News on China episode coming up. Those are always way more fun, but yeah, let's bring this back down, guys. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and whatever the next video is, I'll see you next time. Peace.